What's up everybody, welcome to the channel. We're finally going back doing videos for Wartales as it's going live 1.0 just in a few days on the 12th of April. So for those who were waiting for the full release to play the game, or those who maybe played the last year and then took a break, I want to make a little guide for the starting options and customizing your characters. There's some options in the beginning where will really change your gameplay. So let's go over it right now. So they've changed a little bit the starting screen. It's more or less the same, just a little bit better explained. So in the first option here, as you can see, it's basically what you start with, like what kind of items, but most importantly, what kind of character setup. So there's a few ways to go, but I think some are better than others. My top pick here is the second option. So we're starting with Swordsman, Warrior, Spearman, and Brute. Also the 150 crowns in the beginning can be really good to, give you a little bit more room to breathe. So another option could be the first option. So the difference basically is that you're getting Spearman or Archer. So I wouldn't recommend going with the other options because we really need the Swordsman and the Brute. 2 tanks is very good, especially if you're playing on expert difficulty. Although Archer is very good later, it's very lackluster in the beginning. So I always go with the Spearman instead because you'll find a lot more utility in the early game for the Spearman. So let's move on to the second option. Here we choose the bonuses. It's like a permanent bonus for the group. And there's also a couple options here that you can go for. The 10% experience from combat is actually pretty good. It will help you level faster. But what I go for is the critical damage because the more damage, the more fun, right? The other options are not that good at all. This might sound good, but you can boost the fatigue stacks with food and other ways in the game. So this 10% is really not that good. Constitution is trash. The sale price of all items, I mean, you have a lot of money without this anyway. You're not gonna feel that at all. Okay, so we're going critical damage. And now for the debuff, depending on which group you chose, there might be slightly different, but choose number 1, the increase in wages, because 1 gold is like nothing. You will not feel that at all. If you don't have that option, go for like extra food. Food is easy to manage too. And if you don't have that option for some reason, go with carrying capacity. But I don't recommend carrying capacity because the other options are way easier to manage. And obviously don't reduce your critical hit. So we'll go with wages. Now, this is probably the most important thing to talk about. I have like over 600 hours in this game. I played both ways, and I firmly believe that adaptive exploration is better than region locked, and I'll explain why. This feels like, most games are like that. You're kind of locked by, the difficulty of the enemies to go explore. Yeah, it sounds about right. But it also affects other things. Like, for example, if you want to farm some specific loot from specific groups, like for example, the Inquisition in Artis, like you will out-level them and you will not be able to get the high-level equipment from them. Also, you'll be fighting a lot of like lower level enemies when you're roaming around, and it just makes no sense because fighting becomes a little bit tedious. So many fights, and if you're not getting any upgrades, if you're getting reduced experience, it just feels like a waste of time, to be honest with you. Adaptive exploration is definitely the way to go. You will still not be able to do all the content right from the start, even though the levels will be tailored to your level. Still, you need upgrades and stuff to, like for example, go to Karak's marshland. The fights are always challenging, The game will give you like 1 or 2 levels higher enemies most of the time. So you can farm up your equipment. You can get good experience. It never feels like wasting time. So I recommend going for adaptive exploration. That was for the difficulty. Play expert. Like I said, I have 600 hours in the game. But you could start like at experience if you want. And then you can change the difficulty depending on how you do. Now you can change the difficulty anytime you want. So go ahead and try what's good for you. Now the actual character creation. Like I said before, we need 2 tanks. And on the tanks, well, everybody that's gonna kill stuff, you need to start with rat. You can get these skills later, but they cost money, so you better have what you need the most in the beginning, right? As for the traits, we're going bloodthirsty and quick for the positives, and for the negative, you could either go with glutton or pickpocket. Like I said before, it's easy to manage food and money. If you're a little bit experienced, you know how to manage your happiness, you can go with drunkard. They will be unhappy for a while, but eventually they will heal themselves from the alcoholism, so you have only 2 positive traits. Now the spearman is gonna be our more of a support character, so we want to change her utility to first aid. This to save us when we're in trouble sometimes. She'll be doing damage too, so quick and bloodthirsty for her as well. So now the warrior, I prefer to start with a 2-handed weapon. So we have a little bit of a cleavage there. Also, you need warrior to be able to get wood from camps, like the minigame they added for wood. And believe me, you need a lot of wood to upgrade your camp. Never miss wood. There you go. We want to switch rat as well. And then for the swordsman, go sword and board. And again, rat. Bloodthirsty and quick for him too. So like I said, if you want, you can start with all drunkards, or maybe if it's easier for you, start 2 drunkards and then maybe 2 gluttons, or 1 glutton and 1 pickpocket. It's really up to you. In my opinion, it's very easy now to deal with the drunkard situation, because they added upgrades to the camp, especially the campfire. It will produce a lot of happiness, so you can easily get rid of these. I mean, I've done it before when the camp was not upgradable, but it's up to you. Maybe if you're a beginner, don't screw yourself over with this if you don't know how to keep your guys happy, you know. And finally, don't forget to customize your pony as well. We want to go stocky for the extra capacity, and brownie for the extra constitution, because the constitution determines how much they can carry. And for the negative, just you're not gonna use it for fighting or anything, so you could go like club-footed or unlucky even. It doesn't really matter. Just don't go drunkard. You don't need your pony to be alcoholic. And there it is. It's the starting options. I'm planning to release a bunch of content for Wartales, but I need your guidance to what kind of stuff you're mostly looking for. What is the hardest thing for you in this game? Let me know. I'm pretty experienced in this game, so I can make a guide about anything. So let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Hex out.